Hollywood Held Hostage. I'm Rebecca Lieb.
I'm Jason Horton.
And this is Ghost Town.
On October 5th, 1945, a 6-month strike by the set decorators represented by the Conference of Studio Unions came to a boil, leading to a bloody riot at the gates of Warner Brothers Studios, known as Hollywood Black Friday. And it is Friday.
It is Friday. Today is a Friday. This is about a Friday, and we're discussing Fridays.
What more
it all
do you
comes
want?
Together.
What more do you want?
Nothing.
Besides probably everything.
No, this is all you want, and it's all you'll get.
Well, that's what Hollywood told the crew and workers, and they were like, no, how about we riot? In 1945, the movie industry is at the tail end of the golden age of Hollywood and post-World War II. Things are changing, and the movie industry is making huge profits. Think about that time, the 1940s. I mean, they were releasing like 40 movies a month or something like that.
Exactly.
Movie stars are big. We got your Cary Grants and your Gregory Pecks.
Totally. But they're all tied to the studio system. So they are really beholden. It's not like now where celebrities are bigger than life. They can work for many studios, do lots of different things. At that point, unless the studio released them to do a film somewhere else or to do some kind of shoot or a play or whatever, they were really, really beholden to the studio that they worked for. And they worked there for many, many years. Their contracts were 10 years, 20 years. It's a long time.
And sometimes that worked out, and sometimes you found that that wasn't great because careers waned and things changed, and you're stuck at a place where you can't do what you want or you can't do something that will continue your career. For once, we're not going to talk about the celebrity.
We're going
to talk about the people that make the things happen, namely, in this case, the set decorators.
I like
the
that.
The people that made, these sets were
amazing, lavish.
Huge, groundbreaking, especially at the time. Like, go back and watch any of these movies. Everything looked great at a time where there wasn't a lot of frames of reference.
Yeah.
So they did a lot of work, and they wanted some. And the studios were like, how about no? And they were like, well, how about Hollywood Black Friday?
Nice. I love it. Studios, they're just small nonprofits. They don't really make a buck, not really power players. So who are the set decorators to ask anything of them?
And in general, post-World War II, the economy is great. People are spending a lot of time consuming entertainment.
Yeah.
And especially going to the movies, watching TV, but going to the movies. And they were making so many. So things were booming. It wasn't, there weren't lean times.
No. And this also, one of the only facts I remember from middle school history class is that one of the only industries that was booming during both wars was the movie industry, entertainment. And when we say entertainment at this point, it was just movies, maybe horse races, but mostly movies.
And really during any economic decline or recession, entertainment still,
you need an escape.
People always want to be entertained. Obviously, now going to the movie industry, as far as movie theaters, has taken a hit, and the movie industry has taken some sort of hit in some way, shape, or form, depending on who you ask. But people don't stop. You might stop going to CrossFit.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop watching entertainment.
Absolutely. It just depends. Now we have lots of different ways of watching it. Then you did not. So they've already been making a ton of money, hand over fist.
There was an increase in volume of things being produced and made, and revenue was not passed down to the employees. Things were going up, and the employees were paid at what they, at the time, was like, well, this is kind of fair in congruence to what's going on. But as things went up, they're like, why are we still, because we're producing more and things are getting more complex, but our pay is not changing.
Yeah.
In March of that year, about 10,500 CSU workers went out on strike, and the CSU is the Conference of Studio Unions. So this would lead to delay of many films, including David O. Selznick's Duel in the Sun with Gregory Peck and Orson Welles. Big names.
Big names.
Big movie. And Night and Day with Cary Grant, Cole Porter. At the time, the studios had about 130 films in the can and could wait out the strike for some time. Even so, some studios such as Disney and Monogram, along with others, negotiated with the strikers. Columbia, Fox, MGM, Paramount, RKO, Universal, and Warner did not bargain with them, even though union leadership of the IATSE threatened their members with action if they did not go to work, many would not cross the picket line.
Nice.
So fast forward 6 months later, we take a break.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired their personal trainer as a caterer.
All right, folks, let's keep this line moving. You there with the tongs. Picking up one Duchess potato at a time will not cut it at my catering table. Drop and give me 50.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Okay, this is what we call the wild mushroom and asparagus dip, and press. Come on, let's get those plates above your heads.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
Money and patience was growing thin, and nearly 300 strikers gathered outside of Warner Brothers' main gate, right here in sunny Burbank.
That's right.
I mean, we're close to Burbank. I mean, we're relatively close to
we're
Burbank.
like 15 minutes.
The summer in LA had been hot, and this day's temperature was no exception. So a hot October, we get it. It's kind of a hot February right now.
It is, truly.
Non-strikers tried to get to work at 6 a.m., but were met with barricades. So obviously there's people that want to work. There's people that are like, no, we are on strike. You do not go to work. So tensions are high on both sides. Some drivers attempted to get through the crowd, but their cars were stopped and overturned.
Jesus.
Just trying to get into the gate.
Yeah.
Soon reinforcements for both sides were there, and nearly 1,000 people faced off as Los Angeles and Glendale police, that's a little closer to my hood,
They're bringing in the reinforcements.
Were called in to help Burbank police and Warner Security as workers tried to crash the gates. All hell broke freaking loose. Yeah, I cursed. Armed with chains, hammers, pipes, tear gas, nightsticks, firefighters sprayed the rioters with fire hoses. You turn on the fire hoses, it's like pretty bad.
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
Warner Security used tear gas. The 300 police and deputy sheriffs finally calmed the scene with over 40 injuries reported. Thankfully, not one shot was fired and no one was killed.
Amazing.
Now, what was the outcome of this? So, Hollywood Black Friday helped pass the Taft-Hartley Act in 1947. You've heard the term Taft-Hartley. That's a very common in the world of SAG, right?
Absolutely. If you are an actor who hasn't been Taft-Hartley'd at some point, I would say you are not working that much, because it's the line between union and non-union acting. It's how you get into the union. You can kind of sit on this line. It's, I don't know. Jason does a little more acting than I do these days, but
what's interesting is that what I knew, you say, oh, did you get Taft-Hartley? The Taft-Hartley Act does not make any mention of that. I'm sure there is a connection to it about work, right to work, and all that. But this is more of an act that was supposed that people seem to think is really outdated and not everyone agrees with, especially when it comes to workers and unions. Yeah,
and the changing landscape. I think films, for as quick as they are to capitalize on things, they are very slow to change their processes. And we can talk a little bit too. I'm part of the IATSE that you're talking about in this present day. And we just had a big strike too for similar conditions. It's just the idea of films making a lot of money and the people that work that hurt themselves, essentially, the people that go so far in this specific context where it's like you're expected to work so many hours and not take a break, and everyone's contracted.
And you don't get any, if it's on the streaming services, you may not get, if you're a writer or an animator or whatever the case may be, or some part of the crew, you're not getting a piece of that, even though it's hitting many different platforms and landscapes.
Making a lot of profit from those, but you're not seeing that.
Specifically, Taft-Hartley prohibits certain union practices and requires disclosure of certain financial and political activities by unions and right to work laws. So there's the idea of right to work and the idea of this law. Hey, listen, unions, you can't just put a stranglehold on the industry whenever you feel like it, but then that's the part of the union. So it depending on kind of how you feel about union, there's things to feel about both. Things can be very corrupt, but also can be very necessary. Yeah, there's such a double-edged sword. As someone who's a proud union member to a couple of different unions and who've known organizers and people involved, it's in place to protect the worker, but oftentimes it becomes much bigger than the worker itself, and that's really unfortunate, especially when you try to get to work and your car's overturned. And if a podcaster doesn't tell you that. Who can you trust?
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need, indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started. Angie's List is now Angie, your home for everything home. With Angie, you could cross your next project off your to-do list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need, and we'll handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. Or browse reviews, compare quotes from pros, and connect instantly, all for free. For everything from routine maintenance to a dream remodel. Because however you want your project done, we'll get it done. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
Book your New Jersey summer getaway now. Go for sunshine vibes and beach and boardwalk fun. Discover parks, forests, and family attractions, distinctive dining, and inspiring art, history, and culture. Stay in an urban oasis, an oceanside inn, or other unique accommodations. Boost your mood in New Jersey's feel-great destinations. Create your escape at visitnj.org/book now.